Hi, my name is Matthew White. I'm a transfer student, just transferred into Clemson this semester, and I am majoring in business and focusing in management. And as a transfer student, we all have to take part in the Library 100 course. And in that course, a part of it is a student dialogue, which we have to go and talk about something that, well, discuss something rather than talk about it. And the one that I chose to go to was on race and the 50 years of it. And it was very interesting, and I learned a lot from it. And race is something that you really don't often like talk about. I mean, sometimes it's something that you think about, but it's not something that you go out and hang out with your friends and talk about. That just hanging out with them. So let's get this started. Alright, so the first thing that is asked in this video blog is that if I felt that the dialogue that I went to was a true dialogue, and the answer is yes, because I felt that in the dialogue many people expressed their different viewpoints on what we were talking about, which was race. So I think that's why we achieved the true dialogue. Another question that was asked was to share the dynamics and observations of the group. And the first subpoint under that is were there active voices within the group? Yes, there are many active voices because there were different things that we talked about in the group, and you just heard a bunch of different voices representing different opinions on different topics throughout the entire dialogue. And were there some reserved voices in our dialogue? Yes, there were. Some people didn't speak up much. Some people spoke up a lot. Some people felt that others were having to talk over them. And some people, I don't know, they kind of shifted their opinions on things. And the role that I played in my group, I was pretty active in my group. And we did things where we were asked questions, and if we strongly agreed with it, or strongly disagreed, or agreed, or disagreed, well, when we did that, people kind of you got to see the opinions of people that you wouldn't normally see, and I felt that when we did that, I voiced my opinion very well, and at some points it got out of hand. Not me personally, but other people in the group. I feel that it got somewhat out of hand, and that kind of led to something that I really didn't want to see within it. And do I think that the student dialogue, is an important component of Library 100? Yes, I believe it is, because it gives you an opportunity to voice your opinion on something that is rarely talked about, and you also get to see what other people think of it in a closed group setting where you can just say what you want and you're not being judged or anything. So I feel that that's very important. And you get to also meet new people, and it helps you to understand how they feel once they express their opinions. You can kind of side with them or just understand what they're trying to say. And I think it is a very useful tool as well, because it just opened my eyes to a lot of things that I wouldn't have normally thought about. I mean, some people think about a race at some points. I mean, it's not something that's always thought about, but occasionally you do think about it just in your everyday lives. And my additional thoughts on this were that we got talking about this mainly on race, but in the end it kind of split up between race and ethnicity. And I think once we did that, I think that was a path that we should have steered clear from, because when you talk about race and ethnicity in a closed group, and there are different races and ethnicity within that group, that I feel like certain emotions might be brought up, and it might not be the best thing to do. And like in the end of ours, we were somewhat speaking over people. So if the person that we are not, if the person that we spoke over was not of our race, it might have seemed that we were just trying to just speak over them and just not let them say what they're trying to say. But that's not true. We were just, if someone else started saying something, we just felt like we needed to voice our opinion as well. And I don't know, it did really get out of hand, but in the end, I think it was a very useful thing for everybody to do. So it was very interesting, and I do feel like that I learned a lot from it. And I think that is something that every transfer student or students coming into Clemson should have to do. So that is my video blog on this. I am Matthew White again, a junior at Clemson University studying business. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.